Hi everybody, welcome to another video. Just to say thank you to all the people that subscribe, etc. Trying to make the channel a bit bigger. I'm not trying to get anywhere as such with it. It's just that the more people subscribe, the more people like the videos, the higher up the videos come when people search. So just more people see your videos really, which is what I'm after. You know, I just like the idea of people watching videos, because I think, and maybe this is like a conceited thing, there's actually a reasonable bit of information in some of them. Anyway, enough of that. We got Devilbiss DV1 clear gun with a C1 cap versus a C2 cap. Now, I've only recently made this video. Some of the videos are like 6 months, 8 months old, but they're narrated just before they go on normally. But this one, I've literally only did it about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to get it out reasonably quickly, because it's one of the videos that I would really want to watch if I was thinking about a DV1, or if I had a DV1 and I wasn't quite happy with it. It's one of the videos I would want to watch, so that's the reason for bringing it forward really. So we're starting off with the C1 cap, and then next one round will obviously be the C2. So if you look for the white little marker, it's actually a piece of masking tape on top of the tank, that will signify the C1, and then if it hasn't got that little bit of white, it's the C2 cap being used. And the differences between the cap is really stark. It's quite amazing really. I mean, I've got a 5500 SATA, and in I and O I've got a spare tip set for it, and the difference in that is not a lot really. I have done a back-to-back video which I will get up so that people can see the difference, but it's not the same as this. The difference between these two is quite stark. Now, I've deliberately got two of the same tanks here in the same colour so that they're very comparable, so it's all done on the same day. You can see I literally, you know, spray one, take it over, get the next one, spray that, wait 10 minutes for it to go tacky, and then start again. So it's all relevant, everything is exactly the same, apart from, in this case, the cap. And what I do is I mix up a lot of clear so that it's fresh for each coat, if that makes sense. So you're not, with the last coat, you're not getting sort of like clear coat that's starting to go off or anything like that. So it is very comparable, I feel. So we're literally comparing the C1 and the C2 cap, everything like for like apart from the cap, and you'll see the difference is stark. If you see the pattern there, that's for the C1, and now we're going to see the C2 next to it, and you'll see that it's supposed to not be the same height. It's supposed to be a bit of a shorter pattern, but it seems to me to be about the same height in pattern, but it is definitely a bit wider, and it's definitely wetter. More material, much more material comes out, and what that does is you can see there, it's just a bigger pattern. What it effectively does is it makes it much faster and much wetter. Because it's wetter, you can move faster, and you'll see here, I'm just starting, and then you realise that you can go much faster, and you just do go faster, and it gives a superb finish. And if you look at the two videos, obviously it's the same tank, so that's the idea of it. You can compare the two, and you can see that the two of them together, one is, from memory, is something like 15 seconds faster, something like that. I mean, have a look for yourself, but it's 15 to 20 seconds faster, the C2 cap. So if you're a guy with a DV1 and it's got the C1 cap, and you're not getting on with it because you think it's quite a slow gun, or it's quite dry, it's stuff on quite dry, how you like to work, then don't stick it on eBay. Try a C2 cap, because I think you'll find that it'll be much better. It's certainly much faster, much wetter, and I personally prefer it. When I first started using it, I thought I preferred the C1 cap, but having used the C2 cap a fair bit, I prefer the C2 cap. I'm starting to get to the point where having a few SATAs. I've recently picked up SATA 5000 as well, an RP for clear coat, which is quite a fast gun, and I really like the fast gun, so I like a lot of material coming out. I've put the gun settings at the start, but they're both full fan, full fluid, on a 1.3 tip, and it's just purely, as I say, the cap that's different. But I like the faster guns. When I'm only doing small stuff, it's nice just to be able to blast it on and get it done. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm preferring the C2 to the C1. But I mean, in fairness to the C1 cap, it produces some really nice finishes. It's just slower. You can see the pot leak in there, where I'm trying to tip it up so that you can see on the camera that I have got a different tip back on it, but it didn't quite work out that way. I think you see me swap the tips over a bit later on, just to prove that I am doing it, really, just that it's not the same tip over and over again. But you can see that the one on the left there, out of the three patterns, the one on the left is the C2, and the other two on the right are the C1, and it's definitely a wetter pattern. So it's, as I say, if you're not happy with your DV1, or you're thinking about getting the DV1 but you've heard people say that they're a bit slow, etc, etc, if you're a pro painter, then get one, but get one with a C2 cap, because it really makes a world of difference. You can see here with the C1, you're just having to be a bit, well, a fair bit slower with it. You still get a really good finish. Obviously at the end there's a high resolution video so that you can see that the two are, you can't really split them. I mean, if I was to split them, I would probably come down in the C2 favour, but I think that's only because it just feels nice to use. As I say, I'm getting into like the faster guns, just smashing the clear coat on and finishing the job. It just feels quite nice, really. So anything that's slow, I tend to not like so much these days. But you'll see me putting the cap back on, so you can see there it's the C2 cap for the final pass with the C2, and as I say, it's much faster. It's a high solids clear, so I only use normally high solids clear. If you're using a medium solids or an ultra high solids, it may be slightly different, but most people tend to use a high solids clear, so I think it's probably most relevant to most people. But as I say, these are really, really good guns. I don't think they're particularly better made than the GTI Pro Lights. People say they are. I don't think they are really. Price wise, they're a lot more expensive, so I would be quite happy to use a GTI Pro Light with a T20 cap, because you can get really good finishes with that. In fact, I'm just in the process of doing some videos just using one cap for all, so one cap for base and for clear coat, and on different guns. And the idea of that is just to show people that haven't got the budget that I've got, or the will that I've got, or the stupidness that I've got of buying so many spray guns, can think, well, what spray gun can I get that will do it all? And that's the idea of it. I'm just doing it on probably about 7 or 8 different guns, and using the one cap. A lot of the time it's designed for clear coat, and you're using it for clear and base, etc, etc, just to try and give people an idea of what I think, and obviously it's quite personal, but what I think is the best gun as an all-round gun, best combination, so tip and cap, as an all-round gun, because in an ideal world it's good to have one for clear coat, one for base coat, etc, etc. I wouldn't recommend using your base coat stroke clear coat gun for primer, really, because primer's horrible stuff. So yeah, have a separate gun for that, and just have a cheap one for that. But if you want a nice gun, then get yourself a decent gun and use it for both. So that's the idea of that. So I'll have some of those videos coming along where, as I say, one combination for everything, to see how that goes and see what I think of that. But back to this video anyway. So we're nearly at the end of it, and you'll see the two tanks coming up side by side, and you can't really split them. I don't think you can anyway. If you had to, as I say, I would probably go with the C2, but as an experience, as a spraying experience, I would definitely go with the C2. It's just a sublime cap to use. You can see it's an excellent finish. There's a couple of little bits in it, but you've got to expect that where you're walking around. I mean, my conditions aren't ideal by any means. But if you're walking around with a wet tank, you're bound to pick up little bits, but it hasn't done too bad, to be fair. But you can see both the finishes are absolutely superb. So it's a cracking gun, whichever cap you get. But if you are finding it slow, then do yourself a big favour. Before you sell it, buy a C2 cap or loan a C2 cap. Everything's the same apart from the cap, and put that on the end and see how you get on, because I think you'll find it may well transform the gun for you, because it makes it so different. And have a look at the two tanks and see the speed difference. As I say, I can't remember, it's about 15 seconds I think, but it's loads for such a small thing. Alright guys, bye.